All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to War Games Podcast number 15. Joining me tonight is going to be Locke and Gates, who you guys would probably better know as Copenhagen Guy. So, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me tonight. Hopefully, you're doing well.
Hello.
Hello.
So, tonight we are very quickly going to be going over Task Force Bravo's FTX, which for those of you guys that watched the stream know it was the last FTX of the year. We are now officially into Winter Standdown as a unit, so no more official stuff. Now, that doesn't mean you guys aren't going to see anything from the 506. We're still going to be doing unit-hosted fun operations throughout the month of December, as well as I'll still be doing OSUT and stuff like that. It's just we don't have the big official operations on Saturdays and Sundays. But as far as Task Force Bravo's FTX, again, if you guys watch, you know I filled in as a machine gunner for 2-4. I was 2-4 Alpha, and I had an absolute blast. It's been a long time since I got to run with a weapons squad. It's been even longer since I got to carry a 240. So that was really nice. And so before I go over kind of my experience with it, first I want to kind of introduce you guys to Gates. Since the last time me and him sat down and tried to record something for the podcast, my dumbass had some settings wrong with OBS and didn't record any sound aside from my dumbass voice. So, Gates, who are you? What got you into the 506? Where are you now in the unit? Yeah. Carry on.
All right. Well, I'm Private First Class Gates. Got into the unit. Oh God, what's it been? A couple months now. Really wanted to get into it because I really liked the realism aspect of it. Like I've always wanted to do something like that. And I started off watching Captain Drumheller's videos years ago. And then one day out of the blue, I saw you were streaming on there, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll check this out. And I've been following you ever since. And I guess that kind of got me into getting into the unit.
Twisted his rubber arm, did you?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, the reason I bring that up as far as how you got into the unit is, and this is something we're going to talk about here in a minute, is you had been watching my streams for quite a while before you ever joined the unit. And the reason for that being is that you didn't think you had the time to be in the unit because you work quite a lot. But you're actually able to fill a primary billet within the unit. You're active duty. You're in 2-1. So I know you hesitated for a long time about joining the unit because you didn't think you had the time. And I told you the same thing as I told Ron, hey, just join, and if you can't go active, just go reserves. At least then you can fill in and, take part in the operations. And you joined, got through recruit training, went through OSUT with me, and you immediately went active, right? You immediately went into 2-1, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And you're in Alpha?
Yep, 2-1 Alpha AR.
AR, and so you get to carry the 249, which is why I don't ever really fill in with 2-4 Alpha, because when I fill in, I want to carry the 249. So good job fucking that up.
Yep.
But actually, I have filled in with you a couple times. So yeah, you got into the unit, got into 2-1 Alpha. You're the AR, and you came in towards the latter half of the deployment into NAF. I wouldn't say the end, because at this point, you've gotten to take part in quite a few operations. And what has your impression been thus far? Is it kind of everything you expected from the videos and the streams and stuff, or is it more or less? What's your thoughts on it so far?
Well, I'd probably say maybe it's a little bit more than what I had expected. Just because, during the debriefs and whatnot, I'd never really seen that until I'd started watching yours.
All right.
So, hearing how you guys fucked up and what you guys did good and whatnot, that I think that's pretty cool. Even if you get your asses chewed, but still pretty cool.
It's all a learning experience.
Absolutely.
Right. And so, we're going into winter stand down now. This obviously being your first winter stand down. Were you looking forward to the break from like official duties and stuff, or did you want the deployment to just keep going?
I mean, I guess it's like a yes and a no because I really enjoy doing it, but at the same time, it's good to, take a break every now and then.
Right, and that's, I can definitely speak for as far as, the higher ups or, guys that have been here a long time, breaks are definitely needed. Burnout is definitely a thing within ArmA, especially with how serious we do it and how often. So the first thing I wanted to talk about tonight was kind of our entry, if you will, or kind of our pipeline of how you actually get into the unit, what's required, and so on. Because I've had a few questions about it lately. Obviously, guys watching the stream want to know how they can get involved and stuff like that. How do they get into the unit? And I mean, it's pretty damn simple, really. I mean, all you need is a copy of ArmA with the Apex edition, and that's really all you need to get into the unit itself. Now, as far as the time requirements, that's where people are always really kind of curious about, because we don't really list, okay, you got to be here X number of hours each week or any shit like that. So you put your application in, it's usually accepted within 48 hours or so, or denied, or told you to change your name to something realistic or something like that, which is something that we have oftentimes. Like, people just put in ridiculous fucking names, and it's like, look, it's a realism unit. I'm not gonna fucking call you fucking Sergeant 340 no scope or whatever stupid shit you want to come up with, or 360. So people put in their app, get accepted, and then it goes to recruit training. Recruit training is just a single class you got to do that's usually 2 to 3 hours at absolute maximum. That just gives you kind of a breakdown of how the unit is organized, some of our different SOPs, gives you a little history of not only this unit but the real life unit that we portray, because that is important to a lot of us. And Locke, do you remember your recruit training at all? I know it was a fucking while ago now.
I actually do remember it vaguely. It was I think that's where I met you for the first time. Actually, I think you were running that recruit training. I think.
Oh, was I your instructor?
I believe so. Yeah, during recruit training and all of the OSUTs, of course.
Okay, so I ran you through that. In that case, God, I'm sorry. Not really.
Because I remember I didn't want to be a team leader. And there was somebody else who was also there who actually had military experience in real life. And I'm like, that guy should probably do it. He's going to be way better than me. And you're like, I like that attitude. You can have it. So then you gave it to me, and I'm like, shit.
Yeah. There's two things in the military. Never volunteer yourself, and never volunteer someone else. Because if you volunteer someone else, you're getting it.
Yeah.
And Gates, I know I was your OSUT instructor because you were the only guy in the OSUT class. It was just basically me and you fucking going through shit, which 99% of it you already knew. Who was your recruit instructor? Do you happen to remember?
I think it was Brownlee.
Oh, okay. So when Lieutenant Brownlee was still instructing, okay. So you go through recruit training, get done with that. We as instructors file our report. Your shit gets taken care of as far as the forums, your profile gets updated and shit. And then you have to sign up for OSUT. Now, those of you guys that watch the streams regularly, you know what OSUT is. I teach it every weekend. It's 4 days, 2 to 3 hours each day. Now, the thing that most people don't realize is there's actually 2 OSUT classes. There's my class, which is Class Alpha, and then there's Sergeant Smith's class, which is Class Bravo. My class runs on Saturday and Sunday during the early afternoon. His runs on Tuesday and Thursday, late evening. So we have two separate classes to kind of help with guys' schedules a little bit, but they're both ran essentially the exact same way. We teach the exact same stuff. We do teach off of a document technically, even though the majority of the shit, after teaching it for a while, you kind of memorize it, and you don't really need the document anymore. I know pretty much all 4 days I can rattle off all this shit without having to actually look at the document. But you go through 2 days 1 week and then 2 days the next week. So, as far as the training pipeline at that point, from the time you put in your application until the time you get through OSUT, is generally going to be 2 to 3 weeks, which is kind of long, but you also have to take into account the amount of shit that we have to teach people that come in that have absolutely no experience. And that's the other thing is, a lot of people assume that you have to have military experience to get in the unit. And I can't stress enough that you don't. I mean, probably 80 to 90% of our members don't have military experience. They're just enthusiastic about military simulators and playing with friends. And like the two of you don't have military experience, and you get along just fine, right?
Oh, yeah. I have absolutely no military experience at all.
Right, and as Melius says there in chat, he works at a bank. And the thing that honestly amazes me is with the amount of training that we put guys through. There's a lot of guys that, when people see them in videos or hear them talk on radios and shit like that, they would never know that they don't have military experience. That's why so many people assume that you do need military experience, is because of the amount of training that we put guys through and how seriously we take it. But again, rolling back to OSUT, we only have 4 days to teach guys everything we possibly can about being an infantryman, which in reality in the military takes weeks. I mean, multiple weeks to train guys. I mean, yes, a lot of that is also physical training and getting guys in shape and shit. But it sure as hell doesn't consist of only, 8 hours of essentially lecture and a little bit of field work. But that's really what our OSUT boils down to, is about 8 hours spread over a 2-week period to train you and get you ready to go. But that's also where a lot of the times you'll hear us say, or, we'll say, they're really going to start to learn in their squad trainings. And did you guys find that to be true? Like when you first came into the unit, did you find that you really started learning shit in your squad trainings?
Oh, definitely. During OSUT, you learn kind of the fundamentals and, the basics, and maybe terminology you've never heard before, and that kind of thing. So it kind of familiarizes you with those things. And then once you get into a squad, you start doing trainings and some operations. Just all that stuff just gets refined, and you get used to hearing those things and doing the tactics you learned and that kind of thing. So it's definitely like a process over, a few months.
Right, and you kind of learn from the guys around you. And did you guys find like when you first came into the unit, were like your team leader and your squad leader and stuff, did they kind of like take you under their wing and be like, all right, look, this is how we do this is how we do this, or did they just kind of throw you into the deep end and say, all right, go?
Gates, you want to take that one?
I mean, I guess they were pretty cool. My team lead, my squad lead. I have Staff Sergeant Myers as my squad lead, so it's kind of hard to understand what the fuck he's saying every other word. But no, but other than that, it's pretty good. They're really good about helping out, kind of teaching you things and helping you with stuff.
Yeah, and that was the same with my experience as well. The squad leader that I had, actually I joined 2-1 as well. When I first joined, I was in 2-1 Bravo as a automatic rifleman. And it's really nice to be a part of that squad and be a part of that team. You're finally in the unit, and doing stuff with those guys. And the guys who've been there for a long time really help you along if you do something wrong. They don't always fucking hammer you every time you do something wrong, because they don't have to, during
They better not, that's my fucking job.
Yeah. But yeah, they're definitely there to give you a hand. It's nice.
Right, and real quickly to roll back to the FTX on Sunday. As you guys can see on screen right now, Melius was the other team leader with me, the other machine gun team leader with me in 2-4 that night. And any of you guys that watched that FTX, pay attention. If you go back and watch it, pay attention to how myself and Melius are talking back and forth to each other. That's what I'm referring to a lot of the times when I'm telling like team leaders and shit, like stop fucking radioing your squad leader, talk to your other team leaders. That's what me and Melius were doing. We weren't bothering Akulov with our movements and who was covering and who was moving and shit like that. We were talking to each other. We just cut Akulov out of it because he had other shit going on. But that's what I'm talking about when I tell team leaders, you know, fucking look out for each other. Don't pester your fucking squad leader. Just fucking take care of each other. And I completely forgot to ask, Gates, how did the FTX go for you? Did you have a good time Sunday night?
It was okay, but I had to team lead the Bravo team, and I haven't actually led a team since I went through OSET. So it was.
Oh, so that was your first time.
Yeah, it was great.
The deep end.
Yeah, and that was a pretty gnarly FTX. I know armor-wise, there was quite a bit of armor. I myself, I told Drum afterwards, you know, he asked me, was it a good mission? I was like, yeah, it was a fucking great mission. I had a blast, but I could have done with, you know, more enemies. And he chuckled. He's like, are you fucking serious? You guys took out like a battalion of infantry. I was like, yeah, well, I only went through like 400 rounds for the 240, so I could have done with more guys. And I don't, maybe it's just where we were. It probably was. I don't know. Melius is in chat. He can comment on it too, but it didn't, at no point in time did we really, I never really felt like we were that much in danger. There was a couple of times, you know, we had armor kind of close to us or shit like that, but I definitely felt like we could have taken on more infantry. Armor, maybe not so much, because the armored teams were having a hell of a time. I know we had one tank that ate like 3 fucking Maz rockets, but so Gates, your first time team leading. Let's hear about that. What did you think about team leading? Was it hectic, or did you kind of have it under control the whole time?
I'm not gonna say I had it under control because I definitely didn't. It was hectic for me. I guess it was just because of the nerves. You know, I'm used to carrying around a big ass machine gun and just putting rounds down range, and then all of a sudden I got a team lead. But it was definitely a good learning experience, and I'm glad I had to do it in an FTX and not in an actual operation.
Did you feel that having 2 radios, trying to listen to your team and then your squad lead, did that mess with you at all?
It didn't really mess with me as bad as I thought it would. It was fairly simple. I felt kind of bad though because Sergeant Beniak ended up leading the squad, and I was constantly bothering him. It was just actual, this is Bravo every, couple minutes, and I felt bad.
Beanie's just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, Beanie's a good guy. I'm sure he handled it all right. So yeah, you got the fucking team lead for the first time. You weren't carrying the AR. Did all right with the dual radios. Did you catch yourself kind of sitting stationary, wondering what you should do, or did your training kind of kick in and go, okay, we need to move here, we need to move there, you engage this, you engage that? How was that for you? Like, did you feel yourself like freezing up at times, or did your training kind of kick in?
I guess it was kind of a bit of both. There were times, when we'd be clearing buildings and Alpha would take this building and then we'd move on to the next one. And then there were other times when I just did not know what to do because I just kind of froze, I guess.
Right. And that's, I'm not going to say that's, well, I mean, it is common, especially when you don't team lead normally. When you're suddenly thrown into that position, and now you're running, both radio nets. Now you're responsible for the team, and that's the thing that I think fucks guys up more. Isn't so much the having to make a snap decision. It's more so the responsibility of it, and at least that for me would be my mindset. Is it's not just me anymore. I'm responsible for the other 3 guys, which puts a lot of fucking stress on you. And did you feel that stress at all? Like, shit, I have to take care of these other 3 guys. They're now my responsibility.
Kind of. I mean, I had Yogi and Ruff. It was just the 3 of us. So, I've worked with Yogi a little bit because he fills in with us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a fun guy to work with.
Yeah. And that's, and Jehovah's Thickness there in chat, mentioning that he came into his own under Sam's and 3-4's squad trainings. Well, of course you did, because I trained Sam's. You're welcome. Because Sam's was originally 1-4 under me, so I'm still taking credit. Fuck off. And Locke, you were a team lead for a while as well. Was that something you enjoyed? Like, did you genuinely enjoy being a team leader, or would you just rather be kind of a specialist, or a rifleman just within a team?
No, I really enjoyed being a team leader. At least later on. At the beginning, I found what the problem was is you freeze up because you don't exactly know where to go, and even if you're told where to go, it's how are you going to set your guys up for the maximum effectiveness and that kind of thing. So after a while, you kind of learn that just making a decision, even if it's the wrong one, is a better choice than making no decision. You decide just to do something, and if you fuck up, it's not the end of the world. You learn from it, and next time you'll do it differently or find out what you could do better and that kind of thing. But I really enjoyed it. It was much more preferable for me to be in that position than to be just following orders. It's a bit more involved.
Well, I've mentioned a couple of times that if I could do any job in the unit, it would to be a team leader within a rifle squad or even a weapon squad, really. But some people may think, like, because I'm in a command position, that like it's the best job because everybody answers to me outside of like 2 guys, and well, that and all the officers. But in actuality, it's not. Like, don't get me wrong, it's great being the first sergeant. I enjoy doing it. But a command position, yeah, it can be fun, but team leading, dude, team leading's where it's at. Because you're there on the ground. You're the one, like, dictating how that fight is going to go. And that's the thing that I think a lot of guys maybe don't understand. Even guys that are team leaders, they don't understand how much that individual person can impact the battlefield. Just that one team leader can make a huge fucking difference, whether they're very timid and they always lay back, or if they're super aggressive and always push forward. That can make a huge difference in the entire scale of the battle. And I love that. Like, I love being in that rifle team leader position and having another team leader that's just right there with you, as far as mindset, and the 2 of you communicating, maneuvering, and shit like that. For me, there's just nothing better. And yeah, I'd have to say if I could have any job in the unit, it would be a team leader. What about you guys?
If a bird goes down and a pilot needs rescuing, there might be that team leader who says, I'm going to take my team and go get that guy, without even having to wait for orders if they're closest. So it can really make all the difference, instead of waiting for the squad lead to kind of send that down, he sends it up. He requests, to go and do that, or saying he's going to go and do that, which is okay to do. I think team leads forget that too, that they always feel like they need to wait to be told what to do. And that's not always true. You can, say, hey, I'm going to move my guys over here because we don't have enough cover, And if it's not a good idea, the squad leader will tell you, no, don't do that. But being proactive is always a good thing, being a team lead.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something that, like me and Heckman talked about a lot especially when I was still a team leader, and then even more so when I became a squad leader, was just guys being proactive about shit and doing things, you know, letting people know they were doing this, but just go fucking do it. Like, don't wait for us to tell you to. If we don't want you to do it, then we'll fucking tell you not to do it, you know? What about you, Gates? Would you want to be a team lead again, or are you happy just carrying the 249?
Probably eventually. I'll like to be a team lead. But for right now, I'm just having a blast putting rounds down range. Carrying that big ass gun is a lot of fun.
Right. Well, that's why you notice when I fill in, I take the 249.
Exactly.
And you guys watching the podcast may be curious, like, because when I fill in, I prefer to carry the 249 when I fill in, or I like to take a rifleman spot so I can carry a fucking AT stick. But you may think that's weird because I just said the best job in the unit is a team leader. Why don't I fill in as a team leader? The very simple reason for that being, and not to like bust anybody's balls, is when you're a team leader, you have to mesh with that other team leader in the squad, or those other team leaders in the squad if it's a weapons squad. If you don't mesh with that other team leader, if you guys aren't on kind of the same wavelength, it just doesn't work. And oftentimes I'm not on the same wavelength as another team leader. Like if I was filling in as a team leader, there's one fucking go-to guy that I'm always going to say, yeah, I want him to be the other team leader, and that's going to be Hammer. Because me and Hammer worked together as team leaders for so long together. But that's why, like, Sunday night, when I filled in with Task Force Bravo, I was cool with running a team and Melius being my other team leader, because I know Melius, we've hung out a lot together and shit, so I know we're kind of on the same wavelength. So I was cool with that. But the majority of the time, if I don't know that team leader, if I haven't worked with him before and shit like that, I don't really want to fill that team lead position, because again, your cohesion as team leaders is so important. And if you guys are just one click off, it does not work. And have you guys experienced that at all? I mean, no, Locke, you've got a lot more experience team leading, but have you ever had that instance where, like, you know, you work with somebody else as a team leader and it's great because you guys are just kind of right there together, but then you work with another team leader and they have a different style and it does not go well?
Yeah, it can be hard when you're, you know, filling in, and you know, the thing is that, like, we know everybody too in the unit. It's just you don't really know them that well, and that's why squad trainings are so important, because you get that camaraderie, you know, that cohesion when you're training together, and you get to learn people a little bit better, you know, how their personalities are, you know, just you get a feel for them a lot more. So it's a lot easier, you know, playing with people in anything, I think, not just, you know, in a squad or in the unit. Playing with people that you know a little bit better. So, but I mean, you can still make it work though when you fill in. It's just there might be some misunderstanding, a little hit and miss sometimes.
Yeah. Well, the thing I caught myself in the past doing, filling in as a team leader, because I mean, I'm very aggressive as a team leader. A lot of guys know that. That's why, like, me and Drum always work so well together, because he's very aggressive. Same with Hammer. And that's why the three of us are as good of friends as we are. We all have kind of the same mindset. But I caught myself a long time ago. I was filling in as a team leader. And actually, Hammer was with me. He was, I think he was my grenadier or something. But we were in a squad training, and this was probably maybe 2 years ago. And we were in a squad training. I was the team leader, and we were training on... what the hell's the fucking DayZ map that has Electro? Chernarus. Yeah, we were training on Chernarus. And we went into this small village. We had to clear out the small village. So we're doing Mout. And you guys know I fucking love Mout, as does Hammer. And we just start going to town, dude. We were fucking clearing buildings left and right, hauling ass through this town. And then I look at my micro dagger and I realize, holy fuck, we're 300 meters out in front of the other fire team. We've completely left those guys behind. They haven't been staying online with us. And that was my mistake as well, because I wasn't staying in contact with the other team leader, you know, making sure they were staying online, because at that point, I was used to working with guys, again, that were on the same wavelength as me, and I didn't need to look and see if they were online, because they were pushing just as hard as I was. And luckily, it didn't end badly. I mean, we didn't get wiped out, being way out in front of the rest of our friendly element. But that's when I realized, shit, I can't push like this. I can't take the same mindset in if the other team leader isn't right there with me. It just doesn't work. And that's when I, started kind of pulling back as far as not only filling in as a team leader, but when I did fill in, I kind of calmed things down a little bit, unless I knew that other team leader and knew that they were, of the same mindset as me. Because had I done that in, say, an official operation, if I was filling in as a team leader during a deployment and I fucking pushed my team 300 meters out there ahead of everybody else and we got smoked, I would have felt like a total dick, because it 100% would have been my fault. I was in command of those guys. I pushed them out there. So little differences like that, you can definitely, find yourself like, oh shit, and people may think, well, that other team leader fucked up then, he should have been pushing just as hard as you. That's not the case. It's not everybody has the same style. Even in, maneuvering, not everybody, you can look at a chunk of land and one guy may push left and the other guy may push right. And that doesn't mean both of them are wrong or both of them are right or vice versa, whatever. It's just difference in style, difference in experience, the way their mind works, decisions made, so on and so forth. So, even in that situation, I wouldn't bust anybody's balls on that, aside from the guy that pushed his team 300 meters out there ahead of everybody else, because it's a bad decision to make. But to kind of get back to what we were talking about, now that we went on kind of that tangent about team leaders, So you get through OSUT, you fucking graduate that, and you report into the battalion. If you're going active duty, that's the other thing a lot of people don't realize about the unit. You can graduate OSUT and go immediately into reserves. You don't have to go into an active billet. You can go into reserves right away, which is what AA Ron did. And he's been sitting in reserves for, it's been like 3-4 months now. So you don't have to immediately go to an active billet, which that's a lot of people that are super busy, full-time job and shit like that, and think they don't have the time. You can go right to reserves and just fill in for operations. That's no big deal. But if you do want to go active, so you report into battalion. Battalion will tell you which platoon to report into. Platoon will tell you which squad. Squad will tell you which team. You can request certain teams or squads and stuff if you, look and see that, okay, the only days I have off from work are Saturday and Sunday. This squad trains on Sunday afternoon, so I can make those squad trainings that are only once a week. So I'm going to request that squad, and you'll get sent there. The only time you won't get sent to where you want to go is if the need is higher somewhere else, and you haven't said, okay, I need to go here because of scheduling. If you just say, I want to go to 2-1 Alpha, okay, that's great. Well, if 2-3 Bravo only has 2 guys in it, you're going to fucking 2-3 Bravo unless you tell me that you can only make 2-1 Alpha's training times. That's how it works. But you report into the team, and you're good to go. Then you start doing your trainings and stuff. And as far as, just coming into the unit and being, just a member of the fire team, there really isn't that much time you have to dedicate to it. Not as much as what people think, anyways. Because, again, you have your 1 squad training per week, which is usually 2 to 3 hours maximum. And then you have your 1 required operation every other week, which is 2 to 3 hours. And then a a platoon training once a month. So you only have, your 4 squad trainings in a month, your 2 operations in a month, and 1 platoon training. So you have 7 events per month that you have to make it to. And even then, you are allowed excused absences. If you let your team leader know ahead of time, hey, I'm not going to make it next weekend, I got to work, or I got a birthday party or something like that, that's cool. That's perfectly fine. You're allowed absences. The only time you'll get administratively sent to reserves is if you miss more than 50% of your required attendance per month. So if you miss 4 required things in a 30-day period, then you'll get sent to reserves. But when you're talking about a 30-day period and you only have 7 events in those 30 days, and the majority of that shit takes place on the weekends, it's not too difficult to make it to those required events, even having a full-time job. I mean, I worked a more than full-time job before I started streaming full-time. I was working 60 to 70 hours a week and was still able to do ArmA. And Gates, I know you work quite a bit. Do you ever find yourself like, fuck, man, I don't have the time to do this?
No, I always have time. My family does stuff on Sunday, right about the time that the operations and FTX and whatnot start. But I just make up for it the next Sunday and just go to it then. So I've always got time, and they understand that this is what I do. So they're pretty cool with it.
It's your hobby. I mean, it's instead of going to play basketball, you fucking hang out with a bunch of nerds online and shoot AI characters.
Yep, pretty much.
And question from the chat there: how come there isn't team trainings anymore? Team trainings are useless, and that's one of the things I was very glad to see go. And I will very adamantly fight anytime someone brings it up. There will never be team trainings again as long as I am in a command position in this element, because we don't fight as a team. At bare minimum, we fight as a squad. With 4 guys, you can't really train on all that much. With a squad, you can. And even back when we did have team trainings, we still trained as a squad. And that was back when I was in 1-2. Me and Hammer would still get together on the same day every week, and we would just hold a squad training instead of a team training. And then we'd both just have to fill out separate reports. But we also did the same thing when I was running 1-4. Us and 1-1, who trained at the same time, we would just train together all the time. Because the more guys you can get in the training, the closer you can get to a platoon training, the better. Because that's, as squad leaders, we looked at it as, well, we don't fight as individual squads, we fight as a platoon. So me and Cherry would train our guys together all the time. Because especially on the top of the fact that 1-1 was majority of the time the point element, so they were usually the ones we were covering. So when we would get into an actual operation, me and Cherry worked very well together because we trained together every week. And I'm a huge proponent of doing joint squad trainings and shit. I love when guys do it. Like I said, the more guys you can get into a training, the better. What do you guys think? Do you like doing bigger trainings, or would you prefer like smaller, like team-sized trainings?
I think bigger is always better. It's just there's more going on. There's just more elements to have work together. Which is what we do during operations and that kind of thing. Team trainings, and additional squad trainings, those aren't bad either. You have the one that you have to go to, or that's set up every week. But I mean, if people are gung ho and you want to get together and do more, there's no rule against that. It's just not. It's not like you have to do it. But
oh yeah, you can definitely like schedule impromptu squad trainings and do more than one training a week if you wanted to. What about you, Gates? Do you like doing like just a squad training, or would you like to do more like joint squad trainings?
I kind of like the joint squad trainings. Just because, I mean, you get out there, you're going to be working with more people than just your squads. So I think I like that better. It seems to be more beneficial.
Right. Yeah, and again, obviously, I agree. I used to love doing joint squad trainings back in the day, especially like if you get a third squad in there. And there was actually a couple times where we had like a full-blown platoon training where it was just us squad leaders running it. Because again, we all liked working with each other, especially back in those days when I was running 1-4. Us 4 squad leaders were all very close to each other. So we liked training together, and we would do, like I said, an impromptu platoon training, basically. Just, we didn't have platoon HQ there. But that's why we were so tight-knit, is, we hung out together all the time. We also trained together all the time. So back to, time requirements, like I said, you have 7 required events per month. And then, like right now, we're going into the holiday season. People are insanely busy. Got family coming into town, or they're heading out of town to see family and stuff like that. And that's why we have winter stand down. And I've talked about it a little bit here and there, but winter stand down for us is just basically the unit shuts down, but it doesn't. It's kind of weird. Basically all of the non-S shops shut down. So like the platoons don't do any training, squads don't do any training, air assets aren't required to do any training. They probably still will because that's just how they do. But nobody's required to do anything. We as S3, the guys that set up trainings and operations and stuff, we host fun ops just to give the guys that aren't out of town something to do. So, you don't lose touch and shit like that. And it's usually not as serious as the normal stuff we do. Now, granted, guys still are expected to act respectable and shit like that, but you'll notice that we kind of joke around a bit more, and we don't take it as serious because we're just in there having fun, but nobody's required to come to it. Nothing is required to be done. That being said, what I absolutely love about this unit is we tell everyone, okay, you got a month off. Go do whatever you want to do. You ain't got to do anything here. You got a month, essentially a month, to hang out with family, do whatever. Pretty much every motherfucker in our S shops is like, nah, I'm still going to do my job. And that blows me away every year that we go into winter stand down. That all of our, and when I talk about S shops, all of our volunteers that run like all of our backroom shit and do our recruit trainings and OSUT and file all of our paperwork and process our reports and accept applications and stuff like that. Those are our S shops, or battalion staff. Those guys don't stop during winter stand down, and they perfectly could. It's not a big deal at all, but they never do. That part of the unit never shuts down. It is running 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They never stop, and I fucking love that. I mean, me, myself, I still run OSUP because I hate the idea of the training pipeline being shut down for a couple of weeks. Like, just because we're on break doesn't mean motherfuckers stop applying to the unit. So I started that way back when I first started as a recruit instructor, and then I took over as the what the hell was it even back then? Like chief recruit instructor or some stupid shit. I told all of my instructors at that time, like, hey, you guys can shut down your class if you want, but I'm keeping my recruit training class going. And that kind of trickled down to all the other instructors within S3, and everybody kept their classes open. And we had more guys come through during winter stand down than we did any other time of the year. And it's great to see that that's still going. That guys still refuse to shut down their classes. Guys still process reports. Guys still accept applications. Again, it blows my mind that we tell these guys, hey, you can take a month off and do whatever the fuck you want. And they just keep going. And it's really fucking nice to see. And, I mean, what about you, Locke? I know you don't hold any S-Shop billets, but does that surprise you that we can have, this many fucking people in the unit, tell them, hey, take a month off, do whatever you want, and they still just keep doing their job?
Oh, no, I'm not surprised. It's part of the community. It's like, you have a month off, but this is where we hang out anyway. So,
right.
They're not going to just, like, take off and go do something else. They'll just hop in and, doing that stuff is not really, like, I think, work for them. They chose those bills, they volunteered for them, and they like to keep things running and that kind of thing. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all.
Right. It's just, we're making, without sounding too fucking corny, we're making our family bigger. Because for a lot of guys, this is a family. And like you said, we're going to hang out here anyways. Because, yeah, we all do the ArmA thing together. and train and stuff like that. But we're all still friends too, and we play other games together. Like, we don't just fucking all magically show up on Sunday night and they're like, all right, let's go do an operation. Like, no, we're all friends. We hang out and bullshit together all the time. We play other games together. So it is like a normal gaming community. We just, when we fucking strap on the proverbial boots, things get taken a little bit more seriously than what most fucking gaming communities do. And as far as your question, how full is the unit excluding reserves? I don't know the exact number. It's well over 100 at this time. And I had somebody, I think it was Sai, the other day in Discord ask me if we're ever going to expand the unit. Short answer is yes, kind of. To go into a little more detail on it, we'll open a 4th platoon at maximum, but we're never going to go back to like multiple companies. And what that would mean is, because normally a rifle company is only allowed 3 platoons. So if we had a 4th platoon, technically that would be a 2nd company, but we would put it under the command of Alpha Company. The reason I say that is because we don't want to go back to battalion level. Because if we were to open up a 2nd company, that means that Drum, Hammer, and myself would need to move up to the battalion CO, XO, and Sergeant Major to, basically maintain our command positions. And if we do that, we get that much more disconnected from the rest of the unit, which we really do not want. Right now, we're kind of in a sweet spot where, say we go into an operation and I see a team leader do something really fucking stupid and like he needs to be sat down and talked to about it. Right now, I can grab his platoon sergeant, his squad leader, and him, and the 3 of us can take care of it. If I move up to a battalion level, now I have to add another person into it, because now I have to grab that company first sergeant, that platoon sergeant, that squad leader, and that team leader. And now all of us got to fucking sit down and go over it because of the chain of command. I can't just go straight to that team leader as a command sergeant major and say, hey, you need to unfuck this. No, I have to get his entire chain of command involved if it's, something that's serious. So we're in a nice sweet spot right now as far as, we're at a company level. We really don't want to have to go the next rung up in the chain of command, because again, it would just kind of detach the 3 of us that much more from the unit, which we don't want. What about you guys? Would you guys like to see the unit like kind of go back to what it was with like 2 companies, 5 platoons, or are you kind of happy with where we're at size wise right now?
I never got a chance to see what it was like before.
Oh yeah, you came in right as the purge happened. Yeah,
July 4th, I think, was the day it happened. That was the day I applied, I believe. I think I was accepted like the next day or something. So I came in right during an interesting period. So yeah, but I think it's fine the way it is. I don't really have an opinion either way.
What about you, Gates? Would you like to see more task forces, or you think it's good with just the 3?
I think it's pretty good with just the 3.
I think filling the spots and filling it up would be more beneficial than to be opening a new one. If we get get to that point, that's a different story. But.
Well, that's the thing is people have asked, will we ever close recruitment? Really, no. Like even if we were to open a 4th platoon, there's still constantly guys going to reserves or guys having to leave for whatever reason. Like, I don't think we'll really see a point where we ever have to close recruitment. I mean, I'd be happy if we had to, because we were so full. But it would also suck because we wouldn't have new guys coming in, and I wouldn't have a job as an instructor. But back then when it was 5 task forces, there was 5 platoons going. Yeah, it was cool to have like that many guys in the unit, but it also made it kind of a pain in the ass. Like when you wanted to fill in, it was like, okay, well, there's 2 task forces going tonight. Well, I like these guys, so I'm going to fill in with these guys. And if we were to do that now, like at an HQ level, then guys are like, oh, well, they always fill in for them, so they must like them, this and that. And it's like, well, yeah, I'm not going to fucking fill in with guys I don't like. But then guys get all pissy about it because, you know, so-and-so commander doesn't fucking fill in with them because they think they're shit. And, you know, all of that stupid bullshit politics and everything. So yeah, I'm happy where it's at. So the next thing I want to, yeah, I would also love to see 2 task forces in one operation. If ArmA would allow us to use an entire company on a server, that would be great. I would love it. So the next thing I want to get into is kind of really what I do for a living at this point, and both of you guys have done it a little bit as well, and that is when it comes to streaming, making YouTube videos, stuff like that, because I think there's a lot of not only misconception, but just kind of, I don't really want to say ignorance to be a dick, but guys just don't really know how it works and stuff like that. And I've been streaming for over a year now, I think. And again, the 2 of you have streamed as well. Gates, I know you just started fairly recently streaming, right? Within the last couple months, right?
Yeah, it's been, I think, maybe 2 months.
Right, and Locke, you've been, probably close to a year since you, like, first started?
First started, yeah, but I didn't really, like, take it too seriously until about probably 6 months ago, or, you know, maybe a little bit more, but prior to that, it was pretty inconsistent, and it's still kind of inconsistent, but yeah, I try to...
Well, you started taking it a little bit more seriously in the, you know, recent time, if you will.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've been trying to, you know, keep up with it, and when you have subscribers, of course, that's another thing too. You have to consider.
Yeah, and as Alpha says in chat there, he remembers back when it was J Brewer, before I actually rebranded the channel, if you will. And the reason I bring this stuff up is I was talking about this with, again, I think it was Sai the other night in Discord, as far as how Twitch works and YouTube works and stuff like that, and how, like, we actually make money and shit like that. But first, I want to go over why stream, like, why do we do it? And, you know, before I get into mine, I want to go to you first, Locke, because we've talked about this quite a bit as far as streaming and stuff. Why did you start streaming? Like, what made you say, I want people to see what I'm doing?
Well, the easy answer was just it was fun. You know, you play by yourself or you play with other people, you know, in the unit even, you know, doing operations, stuff like that. And it's really cool if people can look back at your archives and kind of see your perspective on things. So that was initially, you know, something interesting. You're like, oh, you know, look what happened to me here if you were on the other side of the battlefield. So that was always fun. And, you know, if you're playing a single player game or, you know, doing something you think is interesting, but then there's nobody around to see it, it's just cooler, you know, to be able to just share it with people. Right. I thought that was awesome.
Right. And, and very quickly, Taco, my apologies, brother, that I missed that $10 donation. Taco said he's going to tell work that I said he could have a month off. So good luck with that. If they have any problems, tell them to give me a call. I'll chew their ass out pretty good. And Ty, as far as your question goes, who's winning, as far as the donation war between me and Weeboo, he is absolutely fucking demolishing us, which is what I expected. That's perfectly fine, because you guys are still cooler than his community. So you got into it more so just to kind of share what you were doing, so guys could go back and watch the videos and stuff, and, you know, you could tell them, hey, check this out that I did. I thought it was really cool and shit. What about you, Gates? What made you want to start streaming?
All right, this is gonna sound cheesy as hell, but it's been my dream for years. I mean, since I was like a kid, it's what I've always wanted to do. And it's nice to,
Just to,
kind of be able to start it.
was it what you wanted to do just to stream, or was it like just to be a content creator, like to stream, to make YouTube videos, to do everything, or was it just to stream?
Honestly, I think it was just a stream, really. I'm not really into the whole, making videos. I just enjoy streaming and talking with people.
Right on.
And that's interesting, actually, thing to bring up too is YouTube, and that's something I haven't done. But there's a lot of things you can do with YouTube in terms of artistic style that you can't really do, I think, with Twitch, because Twitch is live, right?
Right.
So when you're making a video and you have an intro and you're choosing where to cut it and what to show, it's almost cinematic sometimes, depending on the person or the kind of content you're creating.
Well, to me, and honestly, this is the reason I got into making YouTube videos, because I was doing YouTube videos before I started actually streaming, and that was the actual editing of the videos. I fucking love video editing. And I think a lot of the reason behind that is because of my music editing experience and producing music, which, Locke, me and you have talked about before. Say you've got a new track that you wrote. The second that track is done, as far as the writing, even though the writing is never done until it's completely recorded and edited, you know as well as I do, when you record that track, you will spend hours upon hours upon hours editing it, making sure every single little note sounds perfect, making sure the mix is good, and doing multiple mixes, getting it mastered and everything. It's nothing to spend days on a single track of music to get it to where you want it. And I was the same way with videos. Like, I would spend 8-10 hours editing a single video because I love that aspect of it. And that, I think, is why I really got into videos, is because of my love for editing music. And like I said, Locke can attest to the amount of time that you would spend on a single track. And that's honestly why I'm surprised you're not more into video editing, because it is so close to music editing, especially when you start adding music into the video. And do you foresee that being something you would want to do? Like, to sit there for 6-8 hours and edit a video, or does that just sound incredibly boring to you, Locke?
No, I think that's something I'd be really into. It's something I wanted to do for a long time, but just haven't quite got into yet. And I'm like you, I'll sit there, and I'm my own worst enemy. I'll sit there and edit the fuck out of it forever.
Because there's no such thing as perfection.
Exactly. And then at some point you're going to be like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. This is good enough, and release it or whatever.
It's been 3 days and I haven't seen the sun. I should probably wrap it up.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with video editing that I would like to do as well. I think for myself, it just comes down to having a good video editor and getting down to it.
Yeah, and I mean, I do own Sony Vegas, and that's why, like, if you guys go back and look at my really early videos on the page, you'll see that they are edited, like they have music in them and shit like that. And now, as far as why I stopped doing that, and there have been a lot of questions both for me and also for Drum as to why we've stopped editing videos and putting all that work into them. Because again, for me, coming from a music background, it's so important for me to have the audio correct. The video, it's ArmA. There's only so much you can do as far as making the video itself look good. I would take the time to cut out all the in-between bullshit that really doesn't matter, where, normally in the stream I'm just hanging out bullshitting with you guys. I would cut all that stuff out. But to me, it's about the audio being good. And again, I'm a huge music lover, so I always had music in my videos and the intro and the outro and stuff. But people have asked why do we stop editing our videos? For me, it's a simple reason, really. And it's pretty much the same for drum. Because again, if I spend 8 to 10 hours editing a single video, and this is more so for me than drum, because obviously he gets a lot more views than I do. If I spend 8 hours editing a video, I put that video up on YouTube, and it gets 300 views, which is generally like my average. So that video gets 300 views. Even with ads, that doesn't make any money. But because I use copyrighted music in my shit, I can't put ads on it anyways. So people would say, well, just use non-copyrighted music, which I can do, but the majority of the time, non-copyrighted music is kind of dog shit, and I don't really like it. I'm lucky enough to know people that make music. So I could go to one of my friends and say, hey, let's write a track together for this, intro for my video intros. Okay, that's great. So now me and my buddy are going to sit down for the next 3, 4, 5 days, writing a track, recording it, mastering it, going through all that process that we just talked about for my intros. Now I can use that track for every video intro. Great. I got to do the same thing for the outro, or I just use the same track. So potentially another couple of days writing that, or just use the same track. Great. So now I have the music squared away as far as the intro and the outro. Now I still have to spend all that time editing the video, cutting out all the boring shit in between, making sure the audio is correct, making sure that the audio isn't peaking anywhere or anything like that. If there's, silly shit in there that, shouldn't be seen, like bugs or shit like that, that I, don't really want in my video, then I have to edit that out. So I'm still spending hours editing the video. So, again, I put that up, and I can put ads on it, but it gets like 300 views. Okay, that's fine. Again, obviously, if I got more views, I would make more money, but I don't. I still average like 300 views per YouTube video. And you guys may think, well, shit, 300 views ain't that bad. It's still something. And that's true. Like, believe me, I appreciate all the fucking views I get on my YouTube channel. But the reason I don't focus on putting videos on there as far as like editing them and shit, in the 2 years or 2.5 years that I've had that YouTube channel, I would like the two of you to guess how much money I have made in that 2 to 2.5 years.
I wouldn't even know where to start, especially since YouTube changed their payouts or
yeah, exactly.
Whatever. So yeah, I couldn't even make a guess, I don't think.
Gates, what do you think? 2.5 years of running a YouTube channel.
2.5 years. Man. I'm gonna say $1,000.
No. $10.76 as I'm looking at it right now.
God damn.
Which isn't,
I was being generous.
Hey,
isn't
you can go
even
get a
enough.
Happy Meal.
Yeah. Well, no, I can't because it's not even mine. The way YouTube works is, yes, there's monetization on your videos. Okay. So you earn money for the ads that are on your videos, and at least I hope everybody knows about the fucking quote-unquote adpocalypse where, a lot of videos get demonetized, and a lot of my videos do get demonetized, but the majority of the time, if I request a review, they get monetized again. So I don't, like, all of my videos are monetized. Like, I'm not losing revenue because of demonetization, all right? So all my shit's monetized. In 2.5 years, I've earned $10.76. YouTube doesn't actually pay you out until you earn $100. Once you have $100 essentially sitting in the YouTube piggy bank, then they'll pay you out. So 2.5 years, I've earned basically $11. So essentially, it's going to take me 20 years to get paid out from YouTube with the current way it's going. So now, hopefully, you guys can start to understand why I'm not really keen on spending 6 hours editing a video to put it up there and make 3 cents off of it throughout the lifetime of the video. So it's not really worth it. Now, again, I don't get that many views on the YouTube videos. And part of that is because it's unedited, because it's fucking 2.5 hours long, and guys don't want to sit there for 2.5 hours to watch a goddamn video. They want fucking 10 minutes. So I could get more views. But again, is it worth it? When you go to someone like Drum, who has a much bigger audience than I do, he gets thousands of views per video, 5,000 plus per video. Notice that he has also stopped editing his shit. It's just unedited. It's from the stream. It's for the same reason, guys. There's no money to be made anymore unless you're getting tens and hundreds of thousands of views per video. And it's disappointing as fuck because, again, I love editing the videos, but it's not worth my time. And I don't love it so much that it's going to be a second hobby on top of ArmA and everything I do here. So if I was going to do it, it needs to be worth my while. And making 3 cents on a video that I'm not going to see for another 10 goddamn years plus isn't worth it for me. Which again is disappointing because I love editing the videos and I would like to be able to give you guys kind of the highlights, if you will. But I can't. It makes no sense for me. So, and again, that's what I was originally doing, was only making YouTube videos. I wasn't streaming at all back then. And then Drum started streaming Rainbow Six Siege. And this was quite a long time ago. And I was a moderator in his chat and shit, and like I started getting more and more into the streams. And back then, like, I still watched streamers, but obviously it wasn't somebody I knew, so I didn't really think shit of it. And me and Drone would sit down and bullshit about, streaming and stuff like that. And I finally got into my head, like, I could probably fucking do that. Like, I could stream what I'm playing. I mean, I'm gonna play it anyways. I may as well. And then I'm not spending all this time editing a video. I can just fucking stream it and guys can watch it live. And then I can also interact with the chat and like talk to the guys that are actually watching me, because as some of you probably know, I am famously horrible for replying to comments on my YouTube page, mostly because of the fact that I hate fucking typing. Like, I'll talk all goddamn day long, obviously, as I sit here and run my fucking cock flaps all night. But I hate typing. I cannot stand fucking reading a wall of text and then someone expecting me to send them a wall of text back. So I very rarely reply to YouTube comments, and I feel like a dick for doing it, but it's just, I don't feel like typing a message to you. I'm sorry, but I just don't. Like, if you have a question, especially now, just hop in Discord and ask me, or fucking come to a podcast and ask me. But, I started streaming, and it went okay at first. Like, the majority of the time, I would only have 2 to 3 people watching, and it kind of slowly started growing and growing and growing. But I got incredibly lucky because of Drum, and I will forever be in his debt because of him plugging my channel and my streams and shit. And like it says right on my Patreon that I wouldn't be here if not for Drum. If it wasn't for the fact that he was telling people, to go watch my stream and shit, I wouldn't have a Twitch community. You guys wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be watching my shit if it wasn't for Drum. So, like I said, I'm forever in debt to that guy because of that. And the community started growing more and more to the point where, kind of where it is now. And it's also when I hooked up with WeeWoo, my channel grew even more because he started telling people, hey, go check out Wargame's stream and stuff. And again, I'm in debt to him because of that. My channel, again, wouldn't be where it is without WeeWoo. As I continue to call him by a different name. And I'm just continuously blown away by like how much the community has continued to grow and grow and grow. And like when I started that Discord, Locke here was the one that told me, hey, you should start your own Discord. It's fucking great. And I was like, whatever, I don't even do fucking Facebook and Twitter, let alone, have a Discord. But I finally said to hell with it and set it up. and I was amazed when, you know, guys actually started joining and shit. And it's cool for me to be able to hop in the lounge room and just be able to bullshit with guys from the community and answer questions and stuff like that, like I do in the stream, because that's what I love doing in the stream, really, is bullshitting with you guys and answering questions and shit from the chat. Obviously, you know, when I'm in the middle of operation and busy and shit, I can't, but that's what I love about streaming, is the immediate interaction with the community and the guys watching. And that's why, like, I'll never go back to just making YouTube videos. I will always stream. Aside from the fact that, you know, it's not worth it to make YouTube videos, I love streaming because I get to hang out and bullshit with you guys. And, you know, Gates, you said, you know, that's what you like about streaming, is the, you know, being able to hang out and talk to people. Locke, what about you? Is that kind of the aspect you enjoy about streaming, or is it just kind of like, well, it's simple and I'm going to be playing the game anyways?
Well, part of it is definitely that I'm playing the game anyway, but I definitely like the social aspect of it, being able to, you know, talk to people, and it's nice because, you know, you're playing the game, you're not really playing together. At times you're playing, you know, with people together, but for the people that are watching, they can ask questions, or you can show them, you know, the stuff that you're doing, and stuff at least that you think is cool, you know, and hopefully they enjoy it as well. So yeah, it's much more social than YouTube.
Right, and they can also help you, like in the case of Sphero watching streams when we're trying to bumble our way through Star Citizen and telling us how to actually do it, because he's much more knowledgeable in it. But yeah, that's definitely, for me, streaming is where it's at, to be able to interact with you guys and talk to you guys, because despite what most people may think, I'm actually a pretty fucking sociable guy. Like, obviously, I like fucking talking to people. I have a goddamn podcast where I just sit here and talk the entire night.
Yeah, remember that time when I'm like, hey, Brewer, you should do a podcast? You're like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, no, you should really do it.
Yeah, see, all you motherfuckers watching right now, thank Locke, because he's the reason this podcast exists. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't do it. He was the one like, hey, you should do a podcast. And I was like, nah, nobody wants to fucking listen to me talk for like 2 hours. It'd be fucking annoying. I guess I was wrong. So, Locke, good job proving me wrong. At least somewhat.
Good job.
But the other thing with streaming is, as you guys know, I stream to both Twitch and YouTube. And you may wonder, well, why the fuck do you bother if, you know, YouTube doesn't do anything for you? One, laziness. Because if I stream on only Twitch, then I have to export the video over to YouTube so guys can watch it on YouTube, because the simple fucking fact of the matter is, as far as playback ability, Twitch is fucking, to go back and watch the VOD or whatever on Twitch, it fucking sucks dick. It takes forever to load. It's horrible in comparison to going to watch a YouTube video. So with Restream, it automatically uploads it to YouTube. I don't have to remember an hour after I streamed, oh yeah, I got to go back and export that over to YouTube, and then wait for it to get exported over there, and then make sure all the fucking stuff is correct on it, and the settings and all of that. No, it just does it all for me. So yeah, number one reason why I stream to both, fucking laziness. Number two, YouTube is by far the superior platform when it comes to quality of stream. Twitch is fucking great. Don't get me wrong. I love Twitch. I would never stream to only YouTube because majority of my following is on Twitch. But as far as the quality and the ease of watching, YouTube, hands down, the better platform. Like, YouTube is trying more and more, especially with YouTube Gaming, to get into that realm of Twitch and kind of build up their community of streamers there. And they're doing a great job. And Twitch is almost playing catch up now at this point with YouTube. Obviously, Twitch has a bigger following, more people stream on Twitch. But as far as quality of life and shit like that, Twitch is big time playing catch up in comparison to YouTube. And I don't... Locke, do you stream to both Twitch and YouTube, or are you only doing Twitch?
I'm only doing Twitch. I don't have any intention of doing both. I just never... I don't know. Never had a inclination to do that, I guess.
Right. And Gates, you're only on Twitch, correct?
Yeah, I'm only on Twitch right now. I need to get into setting up something for my YouTube though.
Okay, and to also add, uh, this is gonna fucking sound stupid, but the other reason, aside, it's kind of joined in with the quality. The other reason I started streaming to YouTube is because of Aaron. Like those of you guys that know him from chat, as he, just talked there. Aaron's on the road all the time. He's a truck driver and watches our streams from his truck, and doesn't like always have great internet, but he's able to watch YouTube a hell of a lot easier than he is able to watch Twitch because of the quality of life that YouTube has. And he was constantly having issues of not being able to watch my stream and shit because of buffering and everything. And I was like, well, fuck, man, I would stream to YouTube, but like my followers, my fucking community is on Twitch. Well, then I seen that you could stream to both with Restream, and I was like, well, shit, there we go. Now I can fucking stream to Twitch. The guys that normally watch me can watch me on there, and Aaron can at least watch on fucking YouTube. So it was kind of, more bang for your buck doing both. Now, when it comes to YouTube making money, we talked about that. The YouTube videos don't make any fucking money, at least not for me. YouTube has rolled out the sponsor program, which is essentially a Twitch subscription. You can sponsor a YouTuber for $4.99. Now, you may notice I don't have a sponsor button on my YouTube. Reason being, YouTube, you can't get into the sponsor program until you have 1,000 subscribers, which I don't have yet. So I'm still like 50 subscribers short or some shit. But I do appreciate it. That's YouTube kind of biting the style a little bit of Twitch and saying, hey, you can, support these guys on YouTube just like you do on Twitch, which is pretty cool. I like that. Twitch, again, has the same thing with subscriptions, but they have multiple tiers now where you can subscribe for $5 a month, $10 a month, or $25 a month, which I thought was cool. It allows guys to support people more if they want to. But YouTube really, as far as streaming goes, that's the only way for me to make money is through the sponsors, which I can't get yet because I don't have the subscribers. I will eventually. Now, Twitch, the affiliate program was probably the best decision Twitch has made since its inception. And reason being is Twitch, for the longest time, the only channels you could subscribe to, which meant you were supporting them with X number of dollars per month, is if they were a partnered channel. It's incredibly difficult to get partnered with Twitch. Like, believe me, it's not easy. You have to have X number of concurrent viewers for your streams, X number of followers. You have to stream for X number of days out of the month and shit like that. Like, it's not easy to get a Twitch partnership. And then they rolled out the affiliate program where you could get a sub button if you had, I think it's 50 followers and you stream for X number of days throughout a month. And then maybe it was X number of hours or something like that.
Yeah.
So
it's worth noting, actually, they have an achievement thing that they released on Twitch, so you can actually look up, certain milestones or whatever. I think they just came out with that like last week or something like that.
Oh yeah, I got one the other day. I'd seen it pop up, something about streaming 30 unique days or some shit in a month or something like that. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I haven't streamed every day this month. I don't know how it's 30 unique days in a month because I don't stream 7 days a week, motherfuckers. Like, I got a life. But so they roll out the affiliate program where you can get a sub button. Now, for those of you guys that don't know how a sub button works, when you subscribe on Twitch, you're, giving, again, $5 a month, $10 a month, or $25 a month, depending upon which program you go with, to that streamer. Now, not all of that money goes to the streamer, obviously. Twitch has their overhead. They got to cover their own costs. So that subscriber, or that channel, gets half. No matter how much you don't, or how much you subscribe for, whether it's 5, 10, or 25, Twitch takes half off the top, no matter what. So if you subscribe for $5, they're taking $2.50. If you subscribe for 10, they're taking 5. So they take their half. The other half goes to the streamer. Now, it works the same way that YouTube payout works. Once you get $100, 60 days after that, they pay you out. I just finally got my first payout a couple weeks ago, and I've had a sub button for like 5 or 6 months, so that's how long it took to get up to $100. Because again, they take half of it. So I can have someone that subscribed for, $5. Well, 6 months later, I've made a few bucks on it. But yeah, they take half of it. But the thing that's cool about that is it's the same as partner channels. Like, if you're a partner with Twitch, they still take half. So at this point, there really isn't a huge bonus to being partnered, other than the sense that you get the tiny bit of revenue from ads, which is a few pennies per ad, and you always have that quality setting where guys can change the quality from, source to whatever, which I think the majority of the time my stream has anyways, because of the amount of people watching, which I'm not sure about that because I don't obviously watch my own stream when it's live, but I think a vast majority of the time that setting is down there. But really, those are the only perks to being partnered now because of the affiliate program. And again, that affiliate program was fucking genius. Why? Because now they've opened up thousands and thousands of channels to get that subscription. So now they're making half that money on all those channels instead of just the partner channels. I mean, it was absolute fucking genius move on their end. It was so smart, it had to have come from someone from fucking Amazon after they bought them, because that, again, it was just genius. And I believe, Locke, you're in the affiliate. Actually, you were signed up for affiliate before I was, right?
I think so, yeah. I think I caught it just as it was, they had changed it or whatever, and got a subscriber button. Yeah, I can't remember what it is. I think you mentioned earlier what the requirements are for that.
Yeah, again, I think it's like 50 followers and X number of hours streamed in 30 days or some shit. But I waited to set mine up for a long time. Like, I had it sitting there for a couple of months before I finally filled it all out. Just because I didn't want to deal with it. Like, I didn't really give a shit. I didn't think I would actually get any subscribers. So I didn't bother dealing with it. And again, AA Ron's like, motherfucker, just set it up, for Christ's sakes. Like, basically, kicking me in the ass, saying, just do it.
Well, the thing is, too, is that it's actually, like, it's not really involved process, but you do have to fill out, like, a tax form and everything like that for those who are interested about the process. So it's not just like, oh, you're an affiliate, boom, you don't have to do anything. You actually have to fill out shit.
Yeah, you don't just start making money. Like, you have to fill out tax information and shit like that. But yeah, it wasn't incredibly fucking difficult. I mean, it was really no different than what I had to do for Patreon or any shit like that. But I finally set it up, and lo and behold, I started getting subscribers. And as I say that, I missed Coed. Thank you very much for that 2-month resub, brother. I appreciate the support to the channel. And I started getting subscribers, and it's slowly been building more and more. And I mean, to be completely transparent, I think right now I'm sitting at like 36 subscribers, which isn't a fucking huge number compared to big channels, but it's way, way more than I ever fucking expected to get. And again, it like continues to blow me away, the support that you guys give me. And that's the next thing that I want to go into is, streaming for me now is a job. And when I say that, a lot of times guys think like, oh, well, shit, if it's a job, then you're making, good money. Like, you're making a full-time job type money. And Kooksfin, as I butcher your name, thank you very much for that subscription. I appreciate the support. People think that I'm making a good amount of money. And I'm not going to say that, like, I'm not making money. I mean, obviously, I am if I'm doing this. But it's not what most people think. Like, for me, when I was working full-time, for me, a weekly paycheck was, anywhere from $800 to $1,000. So that, to me, is a full-time job. Because the job I did, I was lucky enough that I made pretty good money. But I also worked stupid amounts of hours. So I made good money, but to me, that's a full-time job. $800 to $1,000 a week. That's what I was supporting my family on. Now, here, I'm not making that much money, guys. Like,
we're not quite at the Summit 1G spot yet.
I'm making like a quarter of that. Now, you may think, well, then how the fuck is it your job if you're not making money to support yourself? You can't really, that's the difficult thing about this, without having, someone like Summit 1G saying, hey, playing with someone like that and then, plugging your channel, you're not going to just magically fucking blow up. Someone has to basically pull you up with them. And that's essentially what Drum has done for me. But it doesn't mean I'm just suddenly making thousands of dollars per month. It doesn't work that way. And it's not my only source of income. Like, there's other income in the household that's, taking care of everything else. But the reason I bring that up is, again, guys, like, well, how in the fuck is it a job then if you're not supporting your family off of it? It's not a full-time job. For someone at my level, again, I'm lucky enough to have other income to be able to support the house. If I didn't, then no, I wouldn't be able to, do this as much as I do. I wouldn't be able to put as much work into it. I wouldn't be doing this podcast and shit like that because I'd be fucking working. Right now we have 7 inches on the snow, or 7 inches of snow on the ground. If I wasn't doing this, I'd be out driving a plow truck for the next 20 hours. But in order to grow my channel, to get it to a point where this can be a full-time job, where I am hopefully one day making that kind of fucking money, I have to take the time off of regular work to be able to do this. Because again, if this wasn't supporting me in the tiniest bit, I'd be out driving a plow truck right now. So I wouldn't be able to do this. So I wouldn't be able to grow my community. I wouldn't be able to do these streams and get more guys following and subscribing and stuff like that. So it's one of those, it's like a very gray, not necessarily a gray area, but like it's a terrifying decision to make. Do I stick with what I know, which is, manual labor and swinging a hammer every goddamn day in the summer and driving a plow truck for fucking 70 hours a week when it's snowing? Or do I take that leap and try and do something I love and hope that it works out? And I can tell you guys, like, I've been in some shitty situations in my life. I've lived a life, I can tell you that much. No decision has ever been scarier than calling my boss and saying, hey, I'm not going to be working this season. I'm doing my own thing. It was absolutely terrifying. Because I'm throwing away $30,000+ a year to say, I'm going to go play video games for a living. Believe me, you guys cannot believe how fucking scary it is to make that decision. And I mean, it's still kind of up in the air in a sense that, it's not, I haven't blown up. I'm not making that thousands of dollars per month. I'm still trying to grow it. But eventually, I will have to make a decision of, okay, is this still going to be worth it? If, a year from now, 2 years from now, am I still doing the same thing? Is it, 50 guys watching and I'm making, a couple $100 a month? Or have I seen a gradual increase of everything? And that's really the point I'm at now is just trying to get everything to grow and, you know, try to make this more viable. And it's not easy. It's something I probably should put even more time into. I should stream more often than I do. But again, I do have a life. I have a family. I have, you know, other responsibilities. I don't even know if you guys can hear the baby crying in the background, but, you know, I got a kid to take care of and shit, and I can't stream 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, like what a lot of big-time streamers do. I wish I could, but I can't. You know, fucking life gets in the way, man. And
yeah, it's like any like small business. It takes time for it to grow, and you know, it's not gonna like, you know, it's a slow process. I think especially for like Twitch and doing this kind of industry, it's just kind of slow going. And that's actually something to be said about the Twitch community too. Is a lot of people who stream, you know, understand another streamer, or you know, have some camaraderie with another streamer, and then
oh
you know,
yeah,
they start playing together, and it kind of takes off from there.
yeah, absolutely. And Taco with another 10 spot for the feels. Thank you, brother. You were actually like probably my first supporter of the channel. Taco's been here from the start. And as you were saying, you know, streamers have kind of that connection, you know, because again, we do the same job. It's just like with any other job, you know, you run into somebody else that fucking swings a hammer, or somebody else that fucking drives a cab, or, you know, whatever. You're gonna have related experience with them, and you do kind of bond automatically because of that related experience, both of you knowing, you know, you're kind of in this together. But I read a article, it was probably a few months back, where they were interviewing a guy who was a full-time streamer. I didn't know who he was. I had never heard of him, but he got a big following, hundreds of thousands of followers and shit. But he was talking about how much work it actually is to be a full-time streamer. And he is one of those guys that streams 6 days a week and, you know, 12 hours a day and shit like that. And he was saying, you know, I work more hours now than what I ever did working a full-time job, but I get to have fun while I'm working. And that is absolutely true. Like, I love streaming, and obviously I love playing video games, so I get to have fun at work. But I think also people don't necessarily realize that, you know, streaming is a public thing. Obviously, there's people watching you, and you kind of have to be fucking entertaining. Otherwise, nobody's going to want to watch your dumb ass. There's some days you just don't feel like being entertaining. I know, especially for me, there's some days where I'm just in a fucking asshole mood, and the last thing I want to do is talk to people or have some fucking asshat get in my stream trying to talk shit, because I am going to absolutely fucking explode and want to find this dude and rip his goddamn head off. Again, that's just kind of my reaction, but I know, like, me and you, Locke, like, we've talked about this before, like, sometimes it is difficult to find kind of motivation to stream sometimes, and like, well, what do I want to play? Is anybody gonna watch this? Like, I don't know what to do. Like, and I know we've talked about that a couple times, but like, you get that feeling of, well, I don't want to stream because I don't think anybody's gonna watch, or I just don't feel like talking to people today. Like, how, I'm not gonna say how often, but like, you get that feeling as well, right?
Oh, definitely. Because when you're streaming, you know, when you feel down, you automatically don't want to be social, kind of, you know, you kind of take a step back, and streaming is very social. So if you're feeling crappy or having a bad day or whatever, and you feel like, well, I could stream, you know, and I should stream for people, you kind of worry that you're gonna come across as, you know, down or not fun, and then that's gonna hurt your channel too. So it's kind of, you got to make a decision. Well, should I be there for the sake of being there, or am I going to take a pass today, or for now, or whatever, you know, till I feel a bit better, or, you know, that kind of thing. So,
right. And that's kind of the mood I was in Sunday. And those of you guys that watch the stream know, but Sunday I was in a really shitty mood. You know, it was the anniversary of my buddy's death. A guy that I fucking absolutely loved like a brother. And I was just in a really, really shitty mood Sunday. and I did not feel like streaming at all. Like, I didn't even feel like doing ArmA. I had to do OSUT just because I had to, but I didn't feel like doing the operation. I didn't feel like streaming, nothing, you know. But I did OSUT, and I was blown away because I did OSUT, and, you know, guys had asked me about Mike, and, you know, I gave a little bit of a rundown of who he was to me and shit. And guys started, you know, basically supporting me now, you know, saying, hey, you know, sorry for your loss and shit like that. And, you know, guys also were donating money, like, hey, grab a pizza and stuff like that, because I had, you know, my pizza fund up there, which actually is still up there from Sunday. And as Riley gifts you a sub, which is cool.
Thanks very much, Riley. That's awesome, man.
I think it's awesome that Twitch did that, where you can gift people subs now. Like, I absolutely love that. I've gifted a couple people subscriptions to other channels and shit. Like, I love that.
I didn't even know you could do that. Is that a new thing?
Yeah, like, it's new that they rolled out with the achievements and shit. Like, now, so, like, you know, those people that are in the fucking stream all the time, but they just can't afford a subscription, you know, they can't justify that $5 a month. Like, you can gift them a sub now, which is fucking awesome.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so Sunday I was just in a shitty mood, and because of the guys watching my OSUT stream, like, it turned my entire day around, which I did not expect. Like, you know, again, it's a shitty day for me, a day that I don't do anything. Like, I just kind of hold up in my office, just kind of being grumpy me. But I had to do OSUT, and I was like, you know, if I don't stream OSUT, guys are going to ask, hey, why didn't you stream and this and that? And it's like, I have to do it. So I fucking quit being a little bitch and streamed it. And again, the guys in the chat just completely turned my day around. Like, by time operation came, you know, again, I talked about Mike a little bit, and it kind of put me in a down mood for a minute. But had it not been for that OSUT stream earlier in the day, and the guys supporting me and shit, I wouldn't have streamed that operation. I wouldn't even have been in the operation. I wouldn't have filled in, just because I wasn't in the mood. But that, like, turned my day around, and was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm streaming tonight. I'm gonna have a good time. And I went in and did this operation that you guys are looking at, and it was one of the funnest fucking times I've had in months. Like, I had a great time Sunday, and Sunday morning when I woke up, I sure shit wouldn't have told you, yeah, today's going to be a great day. Like, fuck no. I was in a horrible mood. But that one stream kind of turned my entire mood around. And that's not the first time that's happened where, you know, I was just in a shitty mood and didn't feel like streaming, but I did, and then turn around and had a great time. But there are times, honestly, where I just don't feel like streaming, where I'm not in that entertaining mood, or I don't really have something that I think guys are going to watch. And you guys may think that's stupid, because it's like, well, you're going to play the game anyways, you might as well stream it. And yeah, I do kind of have that attitude. But it's also the sense where, you know, when you're streaming, it's not that you're obligated to interact with the people in the chat. I mean, you kind of are. And that's, again, what I like most about streaming, is interacting with you guys. But when you don't feel like doing it, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to stream. You know, and there was those nights when me and you, Locke, were playing 7 Days to Die. And the one night we played for, what was it, like fucking 8 or 9 hours?
Yeah. No, I think the stream was like, yeah, it was like 10 hours. It was like the longest stream I've ever done. It was 10 to 12 hours or something like that. It was a long one.
Yeah, and, you know, and I didn't stream any of it. I obviously could have, you know, and I probably should have, because it was a long-ass stream. But, one, guys probably would have thought it was boring, because the majority of it was just me digging in a hole, mining for fucking hours on end.
This guy's part fucking dwarf, man. Yeah. He'll sit there and mine for like hours and hours.
I shit you guys not. Like, if you were to watch or see what I did in 7 Days to Die with that mine, like, I made the joke that I would make the dwarves of Moria fucking jealous. Like, I'm not joking. It's a fucking full-on mine. But the reason I bring that up, though, as far as, like, not wanting to stream or guys not finding it entertaining, like, I know some of you guys are going to say, well, we'd fucking watch anything you stream. Like, we're there for, you know, to watch or to hang out with you, not to watch the game. And believe me, I fucking appreciate that more than you guys will ever understand. But when you're streaming, the fact is, it's all about the numbers. Like, when I look over and see, that there's 50 of you watching right now, like, that makes me feel great. That there's 50 guys listening to me fucking talk. It's still amazing to me. But when, say I was streaming 7 Days to Die for 12 hours, there would be undoubtedly points where there'd be 2 people watching. And that's like a huge blow to kind of your ego, I guess, where like, yeah, well, there's only 2 people watching. I don't know why the fuck I'm even bothering to do this. This just kind of seems like a waste of time, even though you're playing the game anyway, so you're not wasting your time. But it's just, that's how it feels sometimes. And Locke, do you ever get that feeling where it's just like, why in the fuck am I even doing this?
Yeah, at the beginning, definitely. And you're going to have bad days, especially when you start streaming, or even, if you've been streaming a little while, there's going to be days when, people aren't around. They're doing other things or whatever. And it's also knowing your audience too. Like if people watch you play, ArmA or Milsim a lot and you jump into fucking Pokemon or some shit, like they're going to be a bit thrown off. So you kind of make the decision, well, is my audience going to like this or whatever? So that's also part of it.
And Gates, like, you're just getting started out as far as streaming. Like I said, you just started a couple months ago. Do you find yourself getting, like, wrapped up in the numbers? Like, fuck, I only have, 4 guys watching. Like, come on, what do I need to do? Like, do you find yourself getting fucking numbers obsessed?
Yeah, I guess I kind of do. I'm always checking it to see if anybody's watching. There was actually a point last week where I streamed for, I don't know, a good 2 or 3 hours, and I think the entire time I had 0 viewers, and I was just like, God, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm just wasting my time. But I listen to a lot of inspirational things while I'm at work, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I hate my job.
Yeah, because Walmart fucking devours your soul.
Yeah, it's great. So I listen to a lot of inspirational stuff, and most of it is about like chasing your dreams and not letting anything stand in the way between you and your dreams. And that really gets me going every single day. And I got to that point last week where I didn't have anybody watching, and I was kind of pissed at myself because I didn't have anybody watching. I'm thinking like, oh, I must not be entertaining or whatever, but I'm just going to keep doing it anyways because it's what I want to do.
Right.
I read something interesting on Reddit when I first started streaming, just advice things or whatever. And one guy said, if it helps you, don't like cover up the viewers. Don't even look at it because it's gonna affect you, negatively, maybe at the beginning or whatever. It does have an effect on you if that's what you want to do. So, the other part of it is that you really have to go into it having fun with it and really not worrying about how many people are watching. You're doing it for the fun, and that'll show through. People will come and notice you, and it takes time.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're at like 0 or 1, you're at the bottom of the fucking list of whatever game you're playing. Like people got to scroll all the way down and click on you to find you. So it takes time.
Yeah, and Bezo, I'm not sure what's going on with the bits, brother. I apologize for that. But the thing, to note there, like you said, it takes time. And, like I said, I've been doing this for a couple years now, and it's finally getting to the point where, I'm half-ass recognized. Like, it blew my mind the one fucking day that somebody in a fucking TeamSpeak was like, holy shit, I recognize your voice. And I was like, oh, okay. But again, I got incredibly lucky because of drum. Like, it would take me even longer to get to where I am now had it not been for drum and Wee Woo as well. But that's the other thing that I wanted to kind of talk about is, especially for us within the unit, as a lot of you guys have noticed lately, there's a fuck ton of guys in the unit now that stream the ArmA operations. I know oftentimes like Jal will be in my chat and will say like, yeah, I'm watching like 9 people right now that are all in the same operation. And I don't want to say that's like a detriment, but guys that like other guys in the unit, or you know, some of you guys are probably watching that like have started streaming and stuff and are like trying to get their numbers up and get more people watching. The thing that you have to keep in mind is, you know, there's a finite amount of viewers, and you know, it's not really about being competitive, but when you have you know, not to sound like big-headed, but when you already have like Drum and me streaming that operation, people already know us, they, you know, already follow our streams and watch our shit all the time. They're probably not going to, you know, click on this random channel of, you know, some random PFC and start watching their stream during the operation because they're already watching Drums and mine. And I think that kind of not necessarily like hampers the other guys, but you know, it gives them less of a fighting chance because they're already going up against me and Drum, who already have, you know, 60, 70, 100 plus viewers. So they're automatically going to have less people watching. And I can't, like, I try to do for other guys like what Drum does for me by putting them in multi-Twitch and stuff like that when they're in the same operation as me. And now, like, especially with the Discord, you know, we've got the streamer tag in there, so you guys can see the guys that stream in the Discord, but I can't plug everybody. You know, I'd have 18 goddamn people in the multi-Twitch or something, you know. And I think that kind of fucks a lot of people up as far as the unit guys go that start streaming. They're like, why am I not getting viewers? And you know, I watch Brewer's stream and he's got fucking 70 people in there watching during an operation, and guys are donating them $20 and stuff like that. Like, why can't I get that? And it's like, one, I've been doing this for 2 years. 2, Drum fucking threw me a bone, as well as LaRue, and fucking helped me out. And again, I try to do that for other guys as well, but I can't do it for everyone. And it's, you know, it's one of those, it takes time, but you also have to keep in mind the amount of competition that you have, which I don't think a lot of guys take into account. Which is like, where, like you said, branching out to other games, that's a good way to do it. But also, you know, as you mentioned, Locke, you know, guys know me for playing ArmA. That's, you know, guys fucking call me first sergeant. Guys that aren't even in the unit call me top. That's what I'm known for. So for me to go play fucking Pokemon, like you said, you know, guys in the chat saying they'd fucking watch it for sure, but
the thought of it is funny.
Right. But it would completely throw people off because I'm known for playing ArmA. Even when I play Assetto and I do my races, you know, people aren't as interested in that. You know, I can have 100 people watching during ArmA. I'll get 20 watching at maximum while I'm racing in Assetto. So it's just, that's not where my community is. That's not what people know me for. That's not what they want to watch. And I understand that perfectly fine. But to try and build your community off of ArmA while you have that much competition is incredibly difficult. And I know me and you have talked about that before, that like it's going to be very, very hard to get viewers during a 506 operation when me and Drum are both streaming at the same time.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, for people who are getting into streaming and streaming the operations, there's likely, you know, nothing wrong with your content. It's just saturation, you know, and you have to take that into account, you know. So if that's something you're concerned about, you're like, why is nobody watching? It's probably just not anything you're doing wrong, just saturation. So
yeah,
and it's good to, you know, branch out to other things, you know. And the thing is too is that people, you know, they might watch you, they might find you through the unit too, and you know, like your personality and watch you and follow you and stuff like that. So it's not saying that you won't get any viewers or anything like that. It's just you got to look at the probability, and that's pretty much it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, and also, as you know, pointed out, you also have Soto as well, who guys fucking love Soto. I mean, I can guarantee when Soto streams, I don't usually get to go check, but I'm pretty goddamn sure when Soto streams, he has many more viewers than even I do. Probably like right there with Drum as far as the amount of viewers, because guys love watching him because everybody likes Soto. Fuck him. But yeah, to like try and branch out to new games. And, you know, I've read articles on this before, you know, to be what they call a variety streamer, like, you know, someone like Goldie, or Gold Glove, doing that is incredibly difficult. Like, to get people so interested in you as a person that they'll watch you play any game is very difficult. And, you know, like Vertigo said, he watches the races because it supports the channel. And believe me, I fucking appreciate that. But it's still very difficult to do, to get people so interested in you as a person that they'll watch you play anything. And, you know, I'm starting to get to that point where I do have those kind of hardcore guys that will watch anything I play. But it's also the sense of what, like, do I want to play that game? Like say with Battlegrounds, for instance, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Guys liked watching me play that. You know, I have a decent amount of viewers when I play it and stuff, but I don't really enjoy the game. Like, I don't find it fun. And yeah, I could stream it and, you know, just to get viewers and try and get donations and shit like that, but I don't enjoy the game itself. So, like, I don't find myself as entertaining when I'm playing the game just because I don't like it. Like, I like hanging out with Hackman and Hammond and, you know, being able to bullshit with those guys, and some of the conversations we have are pretty fucking entertaining, I think. But I don't enjoy the game itself, which is a big hiccup for me. And especially right now, it's getting very difficult to find a game that I like playing that I also think people would like watching me play. You know, I fucking tried Call of Duty. Like, you guys can't bust my balls. I gave it a shot. It was like a solid 2 hours. All right, I fucking tried. Same thing with Wolfenstein. I tried. OBS did not like it. I wasn't fucking thrilled about the game. So, you know, I tried that. It didn't really work out. So, you know, right now, really, it's just a matter of finding a game to play. And there just isn't one at this point. Like, I have ArmA and Assetto Corsa. That's pretty much all I got. And Locke, I know, you know, you're kind of dealing with the same thing. You know, it's kind of hard to find a game to play that you think people will watch.
Well, yeah, and just even that I enjoy, because I like all kinds of games. And I have fucking game ADD so bad. So, you know, people might watch me playing something for a couple of days, and all of a sudden I'm playing, you know, 2 or 3 different games in the consecutive days after that. So it's
Right.
It's hard to choose, you know, just stream 1 or 2 things, you know. It used to be like World of Warcraft for me like a long time ago, but I don't do that anymore because it's not, you know, what I want to do.
Right.
So, looking around for other things.
And that's, like, I watched your Warcraft streams for as long as I could. Because, like I would say, you know, when I was in there, like, I have to leave because it just makes me want to play. So it's not a matter of like, I don't like watching it. It's just I don't want to watch because it makes me want to play. And as Ty brings up there, Assassin's Creed, you know, definitely I still want to continue with Assassin's Creed. I haven't been able to yet. Like, I still plan on finishing that. That's one of the few games that I do actually want to fucking finish because I am enjoying it. It's just a matter of getting around to it. And Escape from Tarkov, I do now, thanks to Drum, have Escape from Tarkov. And I will eventually end up checking that out. That one is a little bit harder for me to, like, sit down and want to get into it because it is pretty goddamn involved. And on top of that, like, I'm not the hugest fan of PvP, but I am going to check it out eventually. It's just a matter of when.
I'm interested to know if that's good too. I don't have it yet, but it's piqued my interest.
Yeah, and like I said, I definitely want to check it out, but, you know, like we were talking about last week in the podcast, and as Caldwell was saying, it's a very involved game. Like, it's not something you just jump into and start doing. So it is something I want to check out. It's just I haven't been able to yet. And again, that's mostly because of just me having other shit going on and not being able to stream. But the kind of last thing I want to bring up, if you will, is as far as the channel's growth and, you know, what I've been doing. You know, I'm not going to say I'm going to try to stream more because I'll say that, and then I won't, and then I'll feel like a dick. So I'm gonna do my best to try and stream other shit, especially, with hopefully the winter sale coming up on Steam. I'll be able to maybe pick up some shit and stream some other stuff. But I started the Discord again on the recommendation of Locke, and I've enjoyed that, and hopefully you guys are able to, get involved in that, be able to hop in the Discord and check that out, and, hang out with the rest of the community. I also, as Higgleton, through the gear command in there, I started my own Teespring thing. And to tell you honestly, it was out of selfishness. I wanted a coffee cup with my fucking crest on it and a hoodie. So I did a Teespring thing, and I was like, oh, fuck it. I mean, if I'm going to order some for myself, I might as well just, throw them up there and see if anybody else wants some. And I've sold a couple t-shirts. And, that's one of those where obviously I don't want someone to feel like they're fucking, like they need to buy one of those to support me. But I thought it was cool that, people would want to buy shit with my name on it and be able to rep that. Granted, it's fucking cool ass looking gear, if I may say so myself. But, I've got the Teespring thing going, so, you can buy a t-shirt or a hoodie, or most importantly, a coffee cup. You guys know I love my coffee. And I ordered them for myself. I have my own fucking hoodie and coffee cup coming to me. So that's pretty cool that, I'm not going to say that, like, I'm big enough that, now I can have my own t-shirts, because if you don't know how Teespring works, it's incredibly simple. Anybody can do a fucking Teespring campaign. But I thought it was cool that people are actually willing to buy gear with my name on it. That fucking blew me away. And that fucking drum guy also has one, so if you want a Joker 817 shirt, you can buy one of those from him. But yeah, that's pretty much it, as far as like the channel growing and stuff. I set up the Discord for guys to be able to hang out, and I also set up that Teespring thing, and it's one of those where I'm very excited going into this next year to see where the channel grows, or where the channel goes, because it's grown fucking exponentially from the start of this year, and it still amazes me how much support you guys have shown me over the last year. And going into next year, like, I'm super excited to see where it goes from here, and hopefully it'll just continue to grow and get bigger and bigger. Yeah, I don't know who the fuck that drum guy is anybody's talking about. I know Joker 817, but that's it. But that's pretty much it for tonight, guys. Hopefully, again, you're able to, check out the Discord, hang out with some of the guys, and, if you want some garb with my name on it, check out the Teespring. But Locke, any last minute words to gift the viewers before we wrap it up tonight?
Nope. Nothing more for me. Just hope everyone's enjoying their Christmas vacation, if that started for you guys. And that's pretty much it.
Excellent. And Gates, how about you? Any words of wisdom for the guys before we wrap it up?
You're asking me for words of wisdom?
Yeah, I know. I didn't think about it.
Yeah. No, I got nothing. Just thanks for hanging out, and thanks for having me, finally.
All right. Excellent. Yes, finally. I know it fucking takes forever. So, to end it, guys, yeah, again, make sure you check out the Discord, Teespring, all that good shit. Let me plug everything I possibly can. If you want to get involved in the podcast, make sure you check out my Patreon. You can either get early access to the video, so if you weren't able to catch all of the podcast, you'll be able to get access to it via Patreon, because it gets pulled off of YouTube and everything as soon as the live stream goes down, as you guys watch me shoot a bulletproof tree with a 7.62 machine gun. So yeah, check out the Patreon if you want to get involved, be able to send topics for us to talk about, or even be a guest on the podcast. So make sure you guys check that out. We are still doing the raffle, of course, for that PC that's sitting here. It's a $2,200 gaming PC. It's better than the one I'm sitting here on currently. So if you guys want to get into that raffle, just do !raffle in chat, and you can get the details on that. The winner for that is being drawn next week. So a week from today, the winner of that PC is going to be drawn, and I will send that out. Hopefully, they'll get it before the new year. Probably not, with how close it is to Christmas. You probably won't end up actually receiving it until after the 1st. But yeah, Wednesday, a winner is going to be drawn for that PC. Somebody's going to get a fucking monster gaming PC for Christmas. And lastly, next week is going to be the last podcast of 2017. We are going to be taking a break over the coming weeks for the holidays and everything. And that's going to be it. So after next week, I won't see you guys again as far as the podcast until January of 2018. So I really hope you guys can join next week. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to have a lot of guys in there for the podcast. We're pretty much just going to be hanging out, bullshitting, having fun until we draw the winner for that podcast, or for the PC. So hopefully you guys are able to join next week. Hopefully you enjoyed tonight. I definitely had a good time talking about kind of what it is I do, and giving you guys a little insight into it. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you all next week. Later.